Hello and welcome to Crypto Weeklies. In this video, we are going to forecast Litecoin's price action. None of the content is financial advice. Let's get started. Over the last 24 hours and over the last 7 days, Litecoin has rallied by 2.75, little over 2.75%. It has had a healthy gain of about 3.3% of the last 24 hours. So let's check Litecoin's current price action with respect to technical levels. Since the early to mid April of 2025, where the lows were at around $63, with the next 2 to 3 weeks in an upward price action trajectory, the price is trying to per my analysis, is trying to rally to the point of 21-week exponential moving average and the 20-week simple moving average to see if there is a counter trend rally which can take price beyond the 20-week simple moving average, coming in at around $99, current price at around $87. You can see after a major bottom occurs, the price does trend to rally to that 21-week and the 20-week simple moving average. Tries to see if that level is still a resistance, or if there is some momentum to take the price action above the 20-week moving averages. That ranges between $92 and $99. So those are the key levels to watch. If they were to break to the upside, the 0.23 fib level, based on the Fibonacci series based bottom based on May 2021 peak, the 0.23 level is at around $128. So those are the three levels of some sort of importance per the machine learning based model trend on the weekly price action for Litecoin since 2014. The next 6 months forecasted in a bull case, a non-euphoria bull case at 68 percentile or one standard deviation bull case, price action between $97 and $165. So that's the non-euphoria bull case. The two standard deviation or the euphoria bull case, where if the price action in the market has a euphoria like it did back in 2021 and 2017-2018 time period, those typically post-halving years for Bitcoin, where most of the altcoins, historically speaking, have had a favorable post-halving year. If that kind of a euphoria phase occurs in the later half of 2025 per this model, price of Litecoin could be between $108 to about $256. Whereas if there is a continued downturn for over the next 6 months, the price could have a support between $50 and $78. Again, the purpose of this model is not to say if the price has to go up or down or sideways. Those are essentially the three things that prices could do, but provide if they were to go up, what could be theoretical ceiling and floor, and with some directionality available with this pink line, which is the directionality case or the base case of the model, saying that over a longer period of time, Litecoin does have a chance, using its historical data as an evidence. With time, the prices are increasing, even though they feel range bound. You can see a series of higher lows occurring over multiple cycles since 2018, then back in 2022, now in 2024 and 2025 as well. So that's the directionality base information. Right now, the most key level to watch is if the prices week over week try to rally to this yellow line, which is the one standard deviation ceiling for any particular week. So for example, in middle of June of 2025, if the prices are somewhere close to that $120 level and stay meaningfully above that level, then the next level to watch for is the orange line, which is for that same week comes at around price action at around $154. So that's the kind of a utility of the model. If you are more interested in tabular view of this model, this is also available on the bottom of your screen. If we try to analyze the current price with respect to the polynomial regression based fair value estimation, the fair value for Litecoin per this polynomial regression analysis or model is at around $130. So that means per this model, Litecoin is undervalued at this point in time. If we were to analyze how undervalued, it's currently coming to a major area of support that Litecoin has held since about November 2020. Whenever the price comes close to this green line, which is the one standard deviation residual applied to the fair value to estimate if the price is close to the bottom. That bottom was kind of hit in that early April 2025 drop to $63. Now that bottom level is at around $69, whereas the price is currently at around $87. So that's the key level to watch. To the upside, the first key level per this model is rally back to the fair value at around $129, which coincides kind of coincides with the 0.23 fib level at around $128. So that could be an area to watch. The opposite of a one standard deviation residual to the downside is one standard deviation residual to the upside, where together between this yellow and the green line, price stays about 68% of the time, or one standard deviation bottom and the ceiling. The one standard deviation ceiling for Litecoin currently is, for this polynomial regression model, is at around $242. A $242 Litecoin could be somewhere a midpoint between the 0.5 and the 0.618 fib level if the prices were to try to rally to that point. And again, in the later half of the bull market of 2021, that $270 level or the 0.618 level was a key area of resistance. So let's see if the prices do eventually go to that yellow line or the one standard deviation regression ceiling. The two standard deviation regression ceiling, which had captured most of the major peaks that Litecoin has had since its launch, and since essentially since 2017, that valuation for Litecoin is coming in at around $444. That is kind of the higher end of the machine learning based forecast, regression based forecast for Litecoin, whereas the machine learning based forecast with a two standard deviation ceiling for Litecoin estimate a price in the next 6 months to peak at around $250. So that's the divergence between the regression model and the machine learning based model. Right now, per the regression model, if we were try to price color code risk with price, current risk levels are fairly muted at around about 4% risk. If the risk do manage to get to that 28 to 30% level, because again Litecoin's risks are again the deflection between the price and the regression based fair value is kind of diminishing due to its early peak that it achieved in 2017 and has not established a new high over the course of the next 2 cycles. If let's say the risk level per this model were to go to that between 20 to 30% target, the price for Litecoin at that point in time could be somewhere between $128 and $200. So that is a lower end of the price prediction. The higher end is between 50% and 80% risk, between $290 and about $430. So that is a slightly bullish outlook for Litecoin. If you were to look at the two standard deviation ceiling, it kind of coincides at around $430 if the prices were to go to that dotted red line, whereas the opposite of this is the is the bottom regression or the fair value coming in at around $130. So extrapolating is again not a great idea, but if you were to extrapolate that peak in the next 6 months, the two standard deviation ceiling could be somewhere at around $600. Again, there is a high chance that this time around the prices do not reach that level. Again, you can see the difference between the dotted red line and the price in 2017 were much high. This kind of diminished in 2021, and again potentially in 2025 this price action might fall short by 20 to 30% of this ceiling. If we take $600 as an example, deducting 20% would be at around $480. So that's the two standard deviation ceiling based forecast or analysis for Litecoin. If we were to look at the current time weighted average price based analysis for Litecoin, that helps identify if the prices are in an accumulation territory, especially using historical prices where the prices were below this blue line, which represents the time weighted average price. Accumulating below this blue line, historically speaking, not a worse idea. And also this estimates when the deflection between the price and the time weighted average price has reached a crescendo, where the risks are in the orange to red shaded region. Right now, again, as early as about early April of 2025, the price was lower than the time weighted average price. The time weighted average price currently is at about $70. So as of today, the prices are slightly higher than the time weighted average price, but again, if we were to calculate, the risk score is coming in at around 20% or 0.20 with respect to the time weighted average price. Whenever this flips higher than 60 to 80%, between 60 to 80%, that's where for Litecoin, historically speaking, the risks are amplified. And from the simple moving average based price model, the 20-week simple moving average price based risk level analysis, right now the risks are at around 15% or 0.15. If they again go to that 50% to 60% target like they did back in May 2021, or if you are slightly conservative between 35 to, or that is between 30% and 50%, the price is looking going forward could be between $186 and about $285, kind of going hand in hand with the machine learning based price forecast at around peaking at around $256 for Litecoin in the next 6 months. So an overall estimated bull run target for Litecoin with all of these risks in mind comes at around $825. Again, that is if all of the models go to that 95% risk together, the regression model, the time weighted average price model, and SMA model. But these models have their own idiosyncrasies, so taking a 60% off of that $800 target, estimating it around somewhere between $480 to $540 target makes the most amount of sense. Again, not financial advice. And with that, I would like to conclude the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. If you like the content, please give us a like and subscribe, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.